You've probably heard of Feng Shui, but do you know about Vastu Shastra? It's the mother of Feng Shui and comes to us via India. This week on the podcast, you'll learn a little bit about how mantras, chanting, and Vastu all go together as I chat to my Vastu expert online friend, Michael Mastro of VastuCreations.com. Welcome to the Mainly Moonology podcast. I'm your host, Yasmin, an award-winning astrologer and the Sunday Times best-selling author of books including Moonology and creator of the Moonology Oracle cards. My intention for this podcast is to help you understand how you can create your dream life using mainly Moonology, the moon, as your guide. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mainly Moonology podcast for this week. Now, as you know, sometimes we're all about Moonology, and then sometimes we're about things that are kind of Moonology, but they're not really Moonology. And so what we're talking about today, I think actually comes under the Mainly Moonology banner quite well, because we're talking about chanting. But it's not just going to be about chanting in general. I'm going to be speaking to someone who really knows his stuff and asking him about chanting and the moon. She doesn't really even know I'm doing that yet, but that's what we're going to do. So let me just introduce Michael. So Michael Mastro is a co-founder, along with his beautiful wife, Robin, of Vastu Creations and the American Institute of Vastu. Their corporate clients include Boeing, Intel, Microsoft, World Bank, Amazon, and NASA, just to name drop a few slightly well-known companies, as well as thousands of individuals and small businesses worldwide. They're also teachers of yoga, meditation, and spiritual awareness techniques. Michael has presented Vastu on the Dr. Oz TV show. He's a bit of a controversial character these days. Yes. And to the Enlightenment Society at the United Nations. He was named one of the top 100 trailblazers in yoga and Ayurveda in the world by Spirituality and Health magazine. So, Michael, welcome.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. So I'm just going to launch straight into my first question, which is going to prick up everybody's ears, okay?
Okay.
Is it true that you were one of the architects on the first Microsoft building? And did you employ Vastu Shastra? And we probably need to say what Vastu Shastra is as well.
So I did. And this was, I think, 1981 or 82 when Microsoft moved from New Mexico to Bellevue, Washington. And so Vastu means building. Shastra means science. It is the science of building. And it comes from the same part of the Vedas that Ayurveda, the science of healing, comes from. Jyotish, the science of the stars and how they affect us. Astrology, basically. And many other sciences. Dhanurveda, the science of self-defense. All come from this part of the Vedas. Meditation, yoga, pranayama. All of that.
Amazing. So you actually did employ a bit of Vastu Shastra on one of the very first Microsoft buildings. Is that correct, Michael?
Correct.
I mean, don't you think that's amazing? And look how well they've done.
I'm amazed. Definitely. It's, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can tell you a short story if you want.
Oh, go on.
Yes. So Bill Gates, we placed him in the southwest corner of the building. So whoever, like for a house, the master of the house should be in the southwest. And if it's an office, the CEO or the owner of the company should be in the southwest.
Okay.
Southwest has more control over everything in the building. So that's not where you would like to have your children in a house.
Okay.
They would do that. But he wanted a bathroom.
Right.
As part of his office suite. And at that time, they couldn't afford, after I gave him a quote of how much it was going to cost, they couldn't afford it. And it was good because it wouldn't have been great Vastu to have a toilet there. Anyway,
Oh, right.
we talked about
Gosh.
this before.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Michael and I have even done an extensive 1-hour chat about Vastu and toilets. So, find that on my Facebook page, and maybe I'll try and see if I can upload it to the podcast for a future episode. Okay, so there we go. So if that's not a credential, I don't know what is. So we've said that Vastu is building, Shastra is science, it's the science of buildings. Most people will know Feng Shui. So why has Feng Shui dominated when Vastu is older and the mother of Feng Shui, or the father?
So just like many other disciplines and sciences throughout time have been lost and then, reincorporated a lot of times by the West. In this case, Vastu is the mother of Feng Shui, and it is 7,000 to 10,000 years old. And about 2,500 years ago, the science of Feng Shui was carried over the mountains from India to China and adapted to the local cultural and climatic conditions of the time and became known as Feng Shui. The goal of Feng Shui and Vastu is exactly the same: to keep energy moving, because wherever energy gets stuck in your home or office, it creates some stress that affects some aspect of the business or the family, like health, finances, career, relationships.
Right. So I have a slightly personal question here. As you know, we've just renovated, as you guys have as well. So we now have a storage unit full of stuff, which we're going to sort through. But at the moment, the house is, less filled up than, normal. Does the stuff in storage still have a cost, or can I just leave it there for a bit while we get settled at home? I mean, is it like dust under the mat kind of thing, having stuff in storage, or is it just as well to have it in storage if your house is clear and you're in the house?
So is it in a storage unit outside?
Yes. I suppose what I'm saying is I feel like somebody once said to me, if you fill a storage unit up with crap, excuse my language, then, it's still just as bad Feng Shui or Vastu or whatever as if it's in your house. And I'm like, really? Because it feels like it's out of the way.
No, not so much. It does have some influence. It depends on the direction that it's in. And so it's probably in your backyard, but I can't.
No, it's down the road round. It's in another suburb.
Oh, then no worries.
Okay.
If it's not on your lot, I was thinking it was a storage unit.
Right. It's just you wouldn't want to live in the storage unit. Excellent. I like that. You've slightly dispelled a myth. Okay, good. All right. So Michael, thank you for that. That's good to know. On to sort of more general things. What I wanted to speak to you about is really about the 9 planetary mantras, for reasons I'll go into as we chit-chat.
Okay.
But let's start by saying I was writing one of my first diaries, maybe the 2019 one, maybe the 2021, and I really wanted to include mantras. And I had not been able to find which ones to use. And so I think for the first year, I just thought, it's too hard. I'm not going to do it. I'll worry about it next year. And then the following year, I even think I kind of slightly got put off by the universe as well. And then the following year after that, and in the meantime, I'd been learning about mantras. So I think that was I was being prepared. Plus, I read our mutual friend Kulreet Chowdhury's sound medicine book about 5 times. Anyway, so eventually I asked my teacher in India, Sri Shakti Narayana, could I get some mantras to go in my diary? And Amma said, okay, try the 9 planetary mantras. So I kind of Googled them on the internet, and what I came up with, I wasn't too sure about. And then I was speaking to Kulreet about mantras, and she said, you should speak to Michael Mastro. So that's how I found you. And then you gave me those really beautiful 9 mantras, which were that just felt right. So they're what I want to talk about today. But what I was interested in, just before we get into the mantras themselves, is the fact that in Vastu and in the mantras, and presumably in the yantras, well, I know in the yantras, you guys use planets. So as an astrologer, and I should say at this point, Michael's a Jyotish astrologer, and I'm a Western astrologer. So it's like East and West. But yeah, so tell me, how do the mantras and the chants What's the connection there? What's the link between a mantra and a planet?
Okay, between a mantra and a planet. So a mantra is a vibration, a sound that affects the physiology and the environment. And a yantra is just a visual representation of that sound or vibration.
Okay.
So both have an effect on the physiology and the environment. We are a vibration. Everything is energy. Everything is a vibration.
Yeah.
And so we have these beautiful mantras or vibrations that can support whatever we are wanting. Maybe it's better health, maybe it's better finances, etc. And they are connected. Many of the many of the yantras that we use are connected to the planets, because in every floor plan we can see the planets. When we're born, all the planets are arranged a specific way in the sky to teach us certain lessons for us to grow and evolve, help open our hearts, help other people. And we gravitate towards different floor plans at different times in our life, depending on what planetary period we're in, to learn those lessons. And so there's a really, you can look at somebody's chart and then you can look at their floor plan and you see exactly what's going on. They're both there to teach us certain things.
So how is it then? So the mantras that go with the planets, how do they all get? I mean, maybe we need to speak about the first one, and that might help us to have an example. So let's start with, I mean, I'm really tempted to start with the moon, and it's actually at the top of my list anyway. So can I chant it for you?
Yes.
I may have to edit this out later if I totally embarrass myself, but I feel like I'd like to chant it for you. I was taught how to chant them by an Indian priest at the ashram that I go to. Okay, so can I do it for you?
Sure.
All right. I'm a bit nervous, to be honest, but I'll do it. Okay. Lucky you can't see me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha.
Beautiful.
Do I get marks? Am I okay?
Yes, yeah. Wonderful. Perfect.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Thank you so much. Because I just wanted to kind of like, I have been chanting them on Facebook, and I just thought I'd run them past you. And
sure.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. Okay. So let us start with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. So all of the 9 planetary mantras have this sort of format. So it's Om Namo Bhagavate and then blah, blah, Namaha.
Yes.
So shall we start by, do we start by talking about Om Namo Bhagavate, or should we talk about Vasudevaya?
Well, we can just talk about the Om Namo Bhagavate.
Okay.
It basically means to let go, to surrender to that aspect of the divine, to gain their support in all our endeavors. And so it's very interesting, all these different Devata mantras, which are the subtlest form of that planet and even a direction in Vastu, direction, northeast direction. Well, in this case, northwest direction in or northwest area of your house. So yeah, at different periods of time, these aspects of the divine were sent to save the planet or support the planet in specific ways. When knowledge got lost, or the demons were threatening to take over different parts of the planet. Yeah. These different aspects of the divine were sent to save the planet from whatever it happened to be at the particular time.
Right.
And the moon yantra is Vasu. It's a way of describing Krishna. Krishna, if you read the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was the advisor to Arjuna. He was in this dilemma between, it was his dharma to fight the demons, but the demons were actually his brothers. And so it was difficult for him. So Krishna was there to advise him. And Krishna is, if you see pictures or paintings of Krishna with Radha, his wife, his consort, it evokes love. We actually have a picture of them in our bedroom. Krishna was brought to inspire love and open people's hearts. So that's
Beautiful.
one beautiful aspect of the moon. And the moon in Vastu and that area of the house has to do with relationships, has to do with communication and the mind and the emotions, and whether they're in balance or harmony. And if they're not, if there's some imbalance in that area of the house, then it affects your speech, your actions, and stress comes to relationships.
Right. And that's the northwest, yeah?
Yes.
Right. Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. There's a lot to take in. So one thing is when I had a consultation with you when we first were getting to know each other, I know you did chants in every section of the home. So can you just explain what is the purpose really of chanting mantras in one part of the home or the other for people who I think I understand. I that all the areas have a planet and every planet has a mantra. So you kind of, what do you do? Do you ground the energy by doing that chant? I mean, in theory, I suppose you could do all 9 chants every day around your house. Be quite good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you don't actually have to go around the house, but just sitting in one area of the house and wherever you happen to meditate and facing east, you could chant all these mantras to enliven their essence.
Yeah.
So each of these planets and each of these mantras, there are to support the different areas of our life. For starting with the moon, supporting harmony in our relationships,
right,
etc. As we go around all the different planets and different directions of the house.
So anyone who's listening to this at the moment who's got some problems in their relationships, and that probably includes nearly everybody's got some relationship or other that needs a bit of love, you're saying just chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha to them, and ideally in the northwest of your house, but otherwise just anywhere in the house, and it would be good for relationships?
Yes, it supports the harmony in your relationships.
Want to know something exciting? Hey there, it's Aileen here, Yasmin's podcast producer, just hopping on to say that Yasmin's Numerology Diary 2023 comes out this week. It's got everything you need for working with the new and full moons of the year ahead. And if past performances are anything to go by, it will sell out. So avoid disappointment and check out the amazing freebie bonuses which will come with the diary at moonmessages.com/MD2023. That's M for moon, D for diary, and then the numbers 2023. moonmessages.com/MD2023.
And so one thing that I always would like to extrapolate, and have indeed extrapolated, and I think I did run this past you, was in my diary. What I did was I went, okay, moon, sign of Cancer, chant the chant at the new moon in Cancer.
Yeah, that's great. Yes.
That works?
Very supportive.
Okay. All right. Let us keep going. I'm just going to ask you a slightly curly question. When we did the Vastu Colours chat, and you were saying, the problem is that someone's got an afflicted moon, say, or an affliction happening to their moon, and they do those colours, it can intensify. Is that the same with these chants? If if you've got an afflicted moon, are you going to amp up the affliction, or are they milder, gentler than that, or what do you think?
This is a wonderful question. Okay. That's the beauty of the Devata mantras for the planets. They do not strengthen a negative aspect of a planet or they transform. And so there's no danger in chanting a specific planetary mantra using the Devata mantras, whereas there could be with the Chandra mantra for the moon.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
this is the beauty of the Devata mantras. And so chanting, if you have an affliction to your moon or an imbalance in some part of the northwest area house, maybe it's a missing corner or an extension, this is just going to help support chanting the moon mantra is going to help support
Right.
that stress that's being created by the dosha in the house or the dosha in your chart.
Right. So there's only good can come regardless of what you've got in your house or your chart.
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, I'm very glad I asked that question. All right. Okay. So in the report that I bought from you, I received 2 tracks of chanting. One was for Vastu and one was for healing. Can you explain about these 2 different tracks, please?
Sure. So the Vastu is balancing the imbalances in the house.
Okay.
Helping support the planets in each of their directions. And the mantra for healing, Maha or Mrtuynjaya Mantra, is very powerful. It is said to be the most powerful healing mantra on the planet.
Oh, wow.
And if you play it or chant it while you're cooking, the food becomes medicine, healing.
Right.
Medicine. And if you chant it while you're in the shower, the water in the shower becomes healing to the body. So it heals the cellular structure of the body.
Amazing.
And if you have an open container of water in the kitchen and chant this mantra, it gets into the water. So you're drinking this healing water all day long. It's very, very powerful.
Okay. And so can you share the mantra or is it...
Yeah. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivartanam Urva Rukamiva Pantanam Mrtyur Mukshiyamam Murtata. It's a long one.
Yeah.
But it can be learned, or you can just listen to it, and you can find it on iTunes or, ask Alexa.
Do you have it on your website for sale for anyone to download?
Yes, we do. Healing mantra. Yeah.
Brilliant. And people can just... Right. And what's it called, this healing mantra? Just tell me again.
Mrtuynjaya Mantra. But on our site, it's just called the healing mantra. But Mrtuynjaya.
Okay. I'm writing it down. Okay.
It's a funny spelling. Mrtuynjaya. And you may find it spelled differently in different places too.
But I've got your recording of it anyway. But just for anybody who wants to,
Sure.
But I do highly recommend getting your house done for Vastu with Michael. It was brilliant. We need to redo mine now. We've renovated.
Sure.
All right. Okay. All right. So this is, I'm not sure if you've answered this question. I don't think you have. The mantras you gave me are all connected to the planets. Did you do this because I'm an astrologer, or do you always work with the planetary mantras like this?
Always.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. All right. So what is the difference between a mantra you chant for your house and any other mantra? Or is there just no difference? I don't even know what I meant by that question now.
Well, just bringing it back to what a mantra is, it's a vibration that affects the physiology and the environment. And so different mantras have different effects. Yeah. So the planetary mantras, we've already talked about the moon, but all the other planetary mantras support different aspects of our life, whether it's our relationships like with moon or our finances or our career or our health. Yeah. Now, there are other specific mantras that attract a relationship a specific, specifically, although Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha would be a good one to attract a relationship.
The moon one. So you could just do your morning meditation and do some chanting of that one?
Yes, very powerful. There are mantras for different organs in the body when they need some healing. There are mantras for all kinds of different, everything you could possibly think of. There are thousands of mantras, and mantras are the physical representation.
Right. So we said Vasudeva is Krishna.
Yes.
What about Om Namo Bhagavate Ramachandraya Namaha, which is to the sun in the east for health?
Yes.
What's Ramachandraya Namaha?
So that was an aspect of the divine that was brought to the earth to restore health. There was immorality, and people were suffering from health issues, and that aspect of the divine, the sun, was brought to save the planet from those kinds of issues.
And so Ramachandra, is that a deity, or is that...
I see them all as aspects of the divine. So there's
all aspects of the divine.
Yeah.
Right. Who was Ramachandra?
So it's an incarnation of Vishnu again.
It's an incarnation of Vishnu. Yes. So much to learn.
All of these are incarnations of Vishnu. Every planet, every mantra, all at different points in time were brought to the earth to restore some imbalance that was happening.
Right. Well, I'm learning along with everybody else, so it's fascinating. So basically, you're saying every mantra is an incarnation of Vishnu.
These mantras, yes.
Of these mantras, yeah.
But I think it's better, even less confusing, just to say they're all aspects of the divine. Everything is divine. Everything is a vibration. Everything is energy.
Yeah.
And they're just these specific mantras that were and aspects of the divine that were there to restore some imbalance.
Okay. And so what do you think about people just chanting them because they're beautiful without knowing all the Vedas, basically?
That's the beauty of a mantra. And if you ever take a meditation practice, most meditations will, mantra-based meditations will give you a sound or a vibration, but not talk about the meaning, because that will hold the mind in the surface. We want to dive deep so that we can release anything that's blocking our ability to open our hearts and see the beauty that's all around us.
Right.
So the meaning is really not important. It's
right.
That's the beauty of Sanskrit, because in Sanskrit, sound equals form, and it's the mother of all languages in that aspect. And so if you're chanting a specific vibration that has a specific effect on the physiology and the environment, and maybe it's associated with some planet and some other aspect of your life, just the vibration is all you need. You don't need to hold the mind on what it means or what it could mean, or whatever.
Okay. Well, I'll put these things in a download for people. So just one more question, and then I'm going to tell people about something that you've created for everybody. But so just say, I mean, if I think, okay, I want to sort of start to work on my house, should I just chant all the 9 mantras every day for 9 days or something like that? Or should I do one at a time? Or should I be thinking about where in my life I need them the most? What would you say?
I think it's good to have all aspects of your life in balance. So, I think chanting all of them is good. And
all of them. So what you
could do is, if, let's say you wanted to attract a relationship, so you could chant all the mantras, and then that particular Vasudevaya Namaha, you could chant 108 times since that's an area that, you want more specific energy around.
Okay, so you could do all 8 and then do the last one 108 times, say. And could you do it for 8 days or 108 days or something like that?
Great. That would be a great.
Yeah, it'd be a good way to learn them as well. Learn them off by heart. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let us talk about this, Michael, that you have created for everybody. I'm quite excited about this. It looks like it's going to be fun. So It's the Vastu for Success ebook. So what is in there that you've created? For people who aren't watching on Facebook, let me just tell you, on my screen, I've got a screen that just says, add your name and email address to receive the Vastu for Success ebook rather. Enhance your life, improve your finances, boost your health, eliminate environmental balances, support your relationships. Is that all in this book?
Yes.
Right. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, so we explain more about what Vastu is and different ways energy can get stuck in your house or your office that will affect like I said, your career, your finances, your health. And we give specific tips to enhance those different areas of your life in your home environment.
Okay. All right. Well, that's amazing. And I'm going to create a short link for you. I'll put a link I'll just put a link in the show notes. That's fine. I'll put a link in the show notes and people just can click on that. It'll take them to the page and they can download it from there.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, I think we'll leave it there. I think there's way more for us to talk about here, especially because we only covered 2 of the 9 planetary mantras. But shall we reconvene in a short amount of time?
Love to.
We've always got more to talk about.
Yes, and you are great at asking questions.
Well, I am an ex-journalist after all.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to quit the recording. So, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this. This is Michael Mastro. You can find him at vastucreations.com. And I'll put all the links down in the show notes as well. But, yeah, thank you, Michael. And thanks, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Mainly Moonology podcast. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe, give us a review, and we'll be eternally grateful. We publish the podcast every Monday, 4 p.m. UK time, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and I'm afraid to say it's silly o'clock in Australia, but it will be there when you wake up on a Tuesday morning. Have a great week.